Many nutrition coaches struggle to get new clients, and one advice you commonly hear is write a blog or create a blog and blog posts and write on social media. But if you're anything like me, the moment you try to write something, your hands are so much slower than your head, and you're wondering, where do I even start? And we have the question of how do I write about healthy eating and what are some great topics that I can talk about that people are actually interested in reading about. Maybe we're also struggling with, okay, what should even be my name when I write a blog? And in the end, we're not bloggers just writing to have fun writing, but we are nutrition coaches. So in a way, we have to learn how to make money when we are writing blogs or we are writing on social media. And I have the great honor today that Heather and Michelle are here with us. They will share first some really cool ideas on how to overcome writer's block and how to start with your first blog, but they also have a great opportunity for everyone watching to overcome some of the initial struggles of starting a blog. And you have to watch until the end to learn about this very interesting strategy. One thing I want to make clear in the beginning, if you want to build trust and a long-term relationship with your clients, then this is for you. If you're ready to share what you have learned without holding back, because you want to educate and connect with the people and you want to build long-term business value with your clients and your ideal clients, then this is for you. However, if you think you have to grind cold messaging people and you have to reach out to people you have never known, or you have the fear of sharing something that you have learned and maybe they take the information away, will never work with you, or if you believe that other coaches are your competition and you cannot ever collaborate with them, then unfortunately you won't get the most out of this conversation. So if you're here to build trust with your niche, to educate them, and you're here to bring value to others, then welcome, we are going to have a great time. And I see some of the first comments here. Jen is here from Vancouver. Thank you so much for being here, Jen. I see a couple of more people are watching us, so say hello in the comments, let us know where you are, what you're from, with what questions you have. And I start with Heather. Heather, you want to share something with us today, but where have you come up with these solutions, and maybe what are some of the mistakes you have made in the past?
Yeah, so I started my nutrition coaching journey, I suppose, with Precision Nutrition, of course, like many of us. And when I got done with the coaching program and I knew how to work with clients, I still didn't know how to reach them. So that was the first problem that I encountered. So, you know, as you're helping people figure out some of their systems of how to reach people who might be interested in improving their health through nutrition or fitness, there's a lot of, I started to see the other side of the coin about blogging. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm interested in blogs, maybe I need to start writing articles that talk about, you know, my areas of interest and my areas of expertise, the things that the kind of clients that I want to work with are asking. But then I ran into a major roadblock. I felt like I wasn't a good writer. And, you know, maybe this is from things in your past or from school that you're insecure about your writing skills. But through just a process of years of practice, I found ways that I could express myself, not necessarily through looking at a blank page with a blinking cursor. So,
I've been there for sure. And Michelle, what about you?
Well, I can tell you, first of all, let me just say I love the word minutia, so I'm going to use that right now. I had always thought, using this social media and having to write and having to do all this stuff, this feels like such minutia. I mean, I'm working so hard for what? What traction am I actually gaining? And I don't even own the social media that I'm on. But if I make a blog, that's on a platform that like stays for a long time, and it takes people to that spot, and it's living there and it's always there. So my resistance to always posting on social media and not seeing the traction, and then knowing that I have a marketing background and I am 100% an out-of-the-box thinker, marrying my out-of-the-box thinking, what I knew about marketing, what I knew about being able to reach more people and talk the language, blogging just seemed to be the right way to do it. And I am such a team player to go, I'm in a lonely island here, just not getting any traction. And if I can write a blog, if I can write, people will start to see me. And if we get more people, people will start to see me. So I got really excited. So yeah, if that's answering the question, the problems was I got tired of not having a lot of people see my stuff, and it just felt like I was wasting my time.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Lisa is also here. Lisa, thank you so much for watching. And Jen already had a great question. What's the best blog platform to start with? And she loves writing. I find the best way to express myself, but I don't know the best way to get visible. And visibility is something that we're definitely going to talk about, Jen. Because the idea of our video today and what we want to cover is essentially we want to solve a couple of problems for everyone watching today. So one is, how do I attract clients? And you obviously both have found great ways to attract new clients. But we also want to talk about a little bit about this inner, I'm not a good writer, or being confused because I hear this advice and everything is contradicting itself. But also I think there's this part of in our industry of giving value, but then having this real damaging almost mindset of everyone else that who's not clients is evil and they want to get something from me. So what we are going to do and what we try to do with this video today is show how blogging, for example, can help you build authority in your niche, how blogging can help you build connections, valuable connections between other coaches, and also very simply how to rank higher on Google so you get regularly traffic to your site and they sign up for your newsletter and they want to work with you. And the great thing often, by going through this cycle, many of these initial questions of, for example, what is habit-based coaching, or why are we taking things a little bit slower than the overnight apps process, often is removed because they have been following you for so long. So I'm curious for everyone who's watching, do you struggle with writer's block, for example? Do you want to write a blog, but you have this white page with the cursor screaming at you silently? Let me know in the comments below. And we will start, we're getting started with the first question. And that is very simple. I tried many times, Heather, to write about my videos. So the content is already there, but there's this silent, it's almost like in a horror movie, this empty floor with the light blinking. So how do I overcome this empty page feeling? How do I get started?
Well, the first thing that I like to do is think about, what am I going to write about before I even open that up? And thinking of it like a question that I could answer. And that solves a lot of problems, because if someone extemporaneously asks you a question, you just kind of riff a little bit and talk about it. So for me, I finally decided that I was going to use a little bit of technology and record myself dictate, like speaking, and have it transcribed. And one tool, here's a big open secret, otter.ai. It's free, and you can just click it on, start talking, and then it's going to record it and write it into a text document that now you don't have a blank page. So then you can start editing. You can start doing like the research that might have bogged you down. If you started with research, you can just kind of like fill in the gaps of, you know, and make it a little bit more well-rounded of an article. You might also find as you're talking that you have 3 or 4 articles, you know, so then again, you don't have to start from a blank page. One conversation with, you know, your camera or whatever, or with your phone can turn into a lot of content.
Oh yeah, for sure. And for everyone watching, I will post the link to the website at the end in the description below, so you know where to find this amazing website, because that's certainly something that I'm going to use. Michelle, do you have a similar strategy, or do you have another approach to writing?
I do love to brainstorm and talk out my thoughts, because my thoughts come quickly too. And when I hit a great brainstorm, it's wonderful to have that transcript. So what Heather was talking about is when you start using it is phenomenal, because it helps you narrow down, and even will take out like key words that you're saying so you know what to focus on. So it's a great thing. I also think too, and this, I can't take credit for this because this was in Heather and I talking, you know, when you have conversations on Facebook or any social media and you are answering your niche's questions, guess what? That's a potential blog right there, you know, and you are already writing, you're already doing it, but it doesn't have the term blog. I think sometimes we get caught up in just the terminology that I got to write something, but how often do we just answer people's questions, you know, and there you go. That's the start of a blog. For me, writing is easy because conversation is easy. And I view writing as conversation. I never overthink. I never bring it to a perfectionist state. And I think that's where I know, like for my husband, he struggles of what to write because he thinks he can't think of it. But if you take all that, again, I'm going to use the word minutia, all that craziness that we put on top of I need to write, and just act like you're having a conversation, it becomes a lot easier.
Ooh.
Hey, I want to address one of the comments that just popped up. Jen said exactly, we can repurpose our content. On that same train of thought, I was like, I often say, you know, sometimes I feel like I'm writing a book one status update at a time. If you, you know, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're writing those little like blurbs, maybe 2 or 3 sentences that are expressing the thought that's in our mind at the moment. If you can collect those all up together, that's a substantial body of work. Then again, you're not starting with a blank page.
And something that I learned from Mike, I'm going to butcher his name, Duala, I think, is to always save the link to every post and every comment that you make, because then when someday you want to collect all your thoughts around a topic, you can just collect all your thoughts, literally, that you ever expressed around the topic and post it in one place. And that is what I often do with my videos, for example. I check previous posts or in the Facebook groups that I wrote, oh, this was a great idea and this was a great idea. Oh, I didn't thought about that. I had this thought one day. And then you already have a couple of pages, and then it's starting to create a flow. And I'm curious, do you have a strategy to structure an article? Is there a kind of a template or steps that you focus on, that in the beginning you focus on that, in the end on that? Is there something like this?
I do. I have several templates that I know that can create high-ranking blog posts, but I'm going to backstep a little bit because I remember when I was in PN2 and you were one of the coaches, Robin, the way you create systems and the way, I'm sure you have a great way of how you log all the comments too. I mean, that's phenomenal. So I would love to know the way you do the logging comments. When it comes to writing a blog, the biggest thing is it's not about you. You know, so to start off with that mindset, it's not about you, it's about the audience that you're writing to. From there, what is the question that they're asking? You know, if it's not about you, what are they asking? So start right there. A lot of times, you know, it will be the headline that you want. And depending on if you're writing, you know, a how-to, there's so many different forms of blogs or templates that you could do. So to say there's specifically one, there's not, but there's a major one that people really like, and that would more be like the problem solving. That is going to be, especially when you're talking about ranking on Google, that's going to be the biggest one, is the problem solving blog. And you would start with a hook, which basically is you point out the problem that the audience is looking for, that you're trying to solve. And then the next couple of paragraphs, you would show how the problem is worse. You know, like when you have that problem, what makes that problem so bad in your life? So you're kind of creating empathy and you're bringing them in to start feeling like, hey, this really relates to me. Then I have to say it, you know, you want to put a call to action because you want to monetize your blog. So within the first couple of paragraphs, put in a call to action right there. Then you go into the next couple of paragraphs, and this is the solution, the ways that the problem can be solved. Then going next, if you want, because everybody likes lists, I mean, it's so easy to read, go and do a step-by-step. So this is a proposed solution. These are the steps that you can take to do it. Within that, you just round up the conclusion and have another call to action. Don't give away everything because you want people to engage with you. Mm-hmm. So at the end, you could also do an engaging question so that people on a blog post could actually start talking to you about what they read.
Heather, how does it look for you?
Well, when I am starting to think about writing a post and I want to find that question, there's a couple ways that I go about it. One, very easy and again, totally free to access, is just your Google search bar. If you type how to, what is, or some kind of question phrase, and then your keyword, Google, like before too many words, it's going to have a pull down menu that's going to give you a bunch of suggestions. Those suggestions are the most current searches that are happening, and you can like take that as inspiration, as like a starting jump off spot. So that's one easy way. Another resource is called Ask the Public. And it will give you like you put in your keyword, and it will give you all those little question phrases like who is, how to, why, all those kind of question phrases, and then it'll have like a little keyword stub attached to it, and it looks like a little circle, and they're going all the way around it. It's really easy, and it just gives you a lot of inspiration for questions. Once you have like the topic and the question, which almost might be your headline, if you find a couple that are like grouped together, maybe those are also your subheaders. Like, I don't know if people are writing in like a WordPress blog or something like that, but you have a headline and then a subheader and maybe even some little H3s underneath there that kind of guide the eye as though it were an outline. So you can use those questions and topics and like short answers that you would expand upon in the paragraph as like an outline. That's how I like to write my articles.
Yeah, and it's so funny. We are working, even though we have completely different mediums, we are working very, very similar. So these very simple techniques of actually just typing in the question that my ideal clients would have, and then just looking what is Google showing me, what is YouTube showing me, and there are always these little boxes. People also ask, And when there's people also ask, then I have to copy paste all of them, and I have to answer these as well. And for me, I don't have different headlines, but surprise, surprise, sometimes my chapters in the video are the questions that other people also ask. I mean, we can make it easy for the search engine. And for everyone who is watching right now, I think that is super, super important. There's literally, Google is telling you what people are searching. And if you take 15 minutes writing different variations of your ideal client's questions, so when you have a busy mom, for example, as a niche, how to eat healthy as a new mom, how to train or how to stay fit as a new mom, how to lose your baby weight, all of these things, and then you suddenly, my sister calls it a keyword map. So you have this keyword and this connected to this keyword and this keyword and then there and there. And even if you're not comfortable right now of writing long blogs, you have suddenly 15, 20 small social media posts that you can create. So for everyone who's watching right now, I challenge you to do that. Just click on everything that Google suggests that people are also searching, and you will learn a great deal about your ideal clients. And I have a little challenge for everyone who's still watching. Raise your hand in the chat if you're ready to do this challenge. If you're ready to learn the real problems, the real questions, the real roadblocks, and the real results of your ideal clients. Raise your hand in the comments right now. Heather, I have a quick question for those who might not be so familiar with some of these words. What is a keyword?
A keyword is basically the topic that you want to talk about. So most people, I would assume, are pretty familiar with going into Google and searching about the things that they want to know about. So whatever you type into that Google search bar when you are searching, generally those are keywords. It's a noun often, right? Or it's like a part of speech. So it's a word or a short phrase that's the topic of what you want to talk about or learn about. So I would say that's a key phrase. I find that hashtags are often keywords.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you feel more comfortable thinking about what would be a hashtag about this topic, that might work for you.
Yeah, awesome. And I see Olga, Jen, Doa, Lisa, and Daniel all raising their hands. So we have some really committed people here. And thank you so much for commenting, for engaging, and following our challenge. I think right now it would be a great time to answer Jen's questions. So Jen, where's your question? There it is. What is the best way to get visible? So she asked, I don't know the best way to get it out there so it's visible. So let's assume we have our beautiful Word document. How do we get people to actually read it, Michelle? You're on this island, you have the great article. Now I want eyes on my article. How do I do that?
Well, there's a number of different ways, and it also depends, on where you're posting it. I think Jen, you had also asked what platform to start with. I'm going to assume that we're going to start. Let's just start with a website, and maybe yes, you people might not have a website. I'm going to start because that's the platform that we work the most on. But if you have a platform where you do your blog, and then what you want to do is, it's just like when you talk to somebody, you want to say, hey, I just wrote this, would you like to share this? And you talk to your clients and you tell them, this is what I want. You have to be your own best cheerleader, And so maybe even you're promoting and you're saying a little bit before you release that blog that, hey, you know, I'm going to be talking about, I heard you ask this question, in a couple of days I'm going to be releasing this information. You can also do it in a newsletter. You can put it out in all of your social media, but you need to have a place where it's actually linking, where it actually lives, so people can go back to it. So how do you get visible? The biggest thing is collaboration. You know, when you weren't that lonely island, when you can go and refer and use the network of people of who you know, that's going to help you get visible.
And I want to just tease this a little bit because we want to talk about this later. If you're struggling with the idea of, oh, I need a website and how, the name, domain and WordPress or whatever, make sure that you stay until the end because Heather and Michelle have something really, really cool for you. So I think Olga had a question. How do I get known my audience once I'm already sure about the content I'm not entirely. So I think the question is, how do I get to know my audience? How to get increase. How to increase my audience. Okay, Olga, let me know if we already answered your questions. I'm not entirely sure what you're asking here, but collaboration is one great way to get your content in front of more eyes. I have another question, and that is, we're talking about writing, and how beautiful it is. Oh, Michelle left us. She will be back in a second. Heather, from writing to getting clients, walk us through the process.
Well, you have to put down little stepping stones, I would say. If there's too big of a gap that is like too big of an obstacle, think about like what is the next tiny step. Just like when we're coaching our clients for behavior change, you have to think about like what is the smallest very next step for them. Turn that coaching lens on your kind of funnel or the path that you're laying out for people that aren't yet your clients. How can you, so to speak, coach them along the path to getting to know you better, answering their questions. So where are they right now? Not only like emotionally and the trans theoretical, you know, concept of like behavior change, but where are they hanging out? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Are they, you know, where are they physically in the day? Are they a work from home person? Are they at work? So you can think about where you want to post things, what mindset are they going to be in when they receive it? So you may choose different times of day, depending on your platform, of when to send out this information. But the path I'm thinking of is wherever your content lives, be that your website, be that Medium, be that some kind of collective blog, if you're guest blogging on someone else's platform, wherever that content lives, then you need to share it out where people already are hanging out so that they can notice it. So maybe to take little quotes, a teaser, as Michelle was talking about, like, hey, I answered this question. If you want to, you know, get down into the thick of it with me, here's a great article that I just put out, and you give them the link. You might be able to say, I have a list for you to look at, and it piques their interest. So they're like, oh, maybe this problem was kind of on the back burner, but now that I saw this, maybe there's a solution, and their interest takes them to the next step. So you have to lay out don't let them have to go search for it. Give them something specific to do, and an easy way, as easy as possible, to click on it so that they go right there. once they get to your content, like you put something out on social media and it has a link, and now they go to your blog or wherever it is. Michelle was talking about little calls to action at the beginning, maybe again at the end, maybe one time it's an embedded link that's like the little light blue words that have an underline they can click on that's in line text. Maybe it's a button. You have to like put out a different, because people respond to different things. If they have to hunt and search, it's going to be, you know, that much more of a challenge for them to overcome, and their interest is just fleeting, and they may just go away. They'll be like, oh, I'm done, right? The next thing you can do, one of those calls to action might be read another article, something that's really small and a low commitment. A call to action that might be a little bit more is, I have a resource that you can use to implement this solution I've talked about, and trade me that for your email. And that's a medium kind of level of commitment from them. Once they have received that, now they're like a little bit more connected to you. And so you can see that you build this little path for them to build that know, like, and trust factor, which you may have heard about, but that's how you do it.
Yeah, and I totally love the idea of, so I think about this as a spiral in a way. On social media, often you reach a lot of people, but they're just scrolling through. And in the next step, they start to read, maybe they click on your bio, they read the article, they download your free resource, they open your emails, and one day suddenly a client leaves because they had great success, and then you reach out to your email list and say, I have 5 new places in my coaching roster. Send me your application before Saturday. And suddenly you have 30 people sending you requests, something like this. And I think this is so important that people understand that just like coaching, these little commitments, then you have, I call them my superstars. They're doing everything because they are very committed and very aligned with my values that are important to me. And on the other side, we can do the same thing in the other way. So we have this great article or a great video or whatever, and I practically do. So I often have slides in my videos. And when I want to share about something that I talked about in the video, I take one slide and turn one slide into an Instagram post. And this Instagram post without the caption is then a story. In this way, I often chunk my bigger articles or bigger videos into small content that I can then seed throughout the week. Say, hey, I talked about this, and if you want to learn more, go to my video. Hey, I talked about this. This is important. If you want to learn more, go to my video. And we have a lot of people that are really excited actually about the idea of collaboration. So, Michelle, first, thank you so much for being for coming back. Technical things happen. Can you tell us a little bit more of how collaboration can help people get more traffic and more clients?
Well, I'm going to use the analogy of turning the lights off, which is what happened. The power went out because we're having construction on our house right now. So when the lights are off, it kind of feels like you're all alone. You know, and when you turn the lights on, everything feels open, and that's what you're doing. The benefits of collaboration is that there's always somebody to bounce something off of. There's always somebody to help support you. It's the power of you're bigger than the sum of your parts. Or I love to even say the power of it's a village. You know, how often do we use that mentality to say it takes a village to get something done? Seriously, the way the internet is right now and the way social media is, it takes a village to actually get something done.
Yeah, if I can add to that, I love the idea of the lights are on, the lights are off, like at the store, right? You know if they're open because their open sign is on. The internet is voracious, for content. If you are not constantly producing content, your store's lights are off. Through collaboration, you don't have to bear the weight of all that content production all by yourself. By coming together, always someone is posting something, and you're standing in a group of people that have the spotlight shining on them all the time. So when we're talking about those little stepping stones, like maybe if you were interested in this article, then this one also might interest you. If you're collaborating, you don't have to write both those articles. You keep people in the ecosystem of your collaboration, for lack of a better word. I can't think of another word off the top of my head, but you keep people like in the ecosystem of reading where you are writing, and then they're like, oh, this is a great site, I've really enjoyed this, I'll come back. One of the other small call to actions is follow me on. If a bunch of people are together, then you're not only talking to your own personal circle of influence, but you have the opportunity of talking to other people's circle of influence. And that's the power of weak ties, right? You wouldn't possibly have known another coach's, roommate's, sister or something like that. But because of the internet algorithms, like suddenly your content is being seen and shared by people you would have no way of reaching before.
And for me, it sounds super exciting, the idea of that I don't have to produce all the videos or all the content, but there's actually a structural approach to, I'm an expert in this area and you're an expert in this area. Let's work together, and then we have cross-references, so people that I have can learn about you, and people that you have can learn about you, can learn about me. I'm not sure who, for those who are watching, does that sound exciting to you? For me, it is at least a huge leap when I think about not creating all the content all the time. One personal approach, or my YouTube is enough. If I had to think about of creating all this other content as well, I would there screaming and crying. Let me know, raise your hands, how do you think about this? And Michelle, you have created something unique, a platform where collaboration can happen. Can you tell us a little bit more about your project?
Yes. So this occurred during COVID. So I have to say thank you, COVID, for this brainstorm. My background was in marketing, and I then became a personal trainer and a nutrition coach. And all of a sudden, this bright idea happened. Marry what I know about marketing with helping online coaches. And if we work together, woo, we can get those lights on. So Heather and I created what's called Balanced Health Styles, because we truly believe in the philosophy of deep health and finding balance. So if we collaborate with coaches, like we've been saying, to to make our marketing efforts work. But there's a lot of craziness in the marketing that's behind the scenes that, I mean, as health coaches and nutrition coaches, why do you need to know all that stuff? Because you just want to coach, that's all you want to do. So with the marketing background, we can do behind the scenes. Coaches can just write content, we'll optimize it, we'll help you rank it high, and you know what? We're going to do it free because it's a benefit to everybody. The goal is to shine a light on health coaches. If that's as simple as an explanation as I can do, is if we work together, we can shine a light on everybody, and it just seems to work.
Yeah, and when I wrote your website, I was super fascinated by these statistics that you had to have 25 articles or plus to actually really gain traction on Google. And I mean, it took me well over 6 months to get my YouTube channel where it is, and now it is my whole focus. But the idea of all health coaches working together, creating 25 articles in 12 weeks or less, and then cross-referencing them so everyone can share their audience while also ranking high on Google, so everybody benefits. That was super, super exciting. And Jen already asked, please post the website. I will share the link in the description, in the chat. Stay until the end, then you can learn where you can actually share your first article and get it published and build the authority, and can actually, hey, I wrote this article, and people are, oh, Jen knows her stuff. But there's actually another level to it. And Heather, that was also super, super exciting for me. You also help with the social media promotion. Can you talk us a little bit? Can you talk more about this?
Yeah, definitely. So first I wanted to talk a little bit about how I, started thinking about why I wanted to start this project myself. And I read Dr. John Berardi's book, Changemaker, and he talked about other kinds of things that you can do, types of work in the industry to help promote, the whole health and wellness industry. Some examples were maybe instead of being a nutrition coach or a personal trainer, you operated a facility. Maybe you're a blogger or a writer. Maybe you're a recipe developer. Maybe you are the front desk greeter at the gym. Maybe you're the accountant at the gym, or where, some health related business. And using, my thinking about my unique skills and abilities and things that I was interested in and found flow with, I love tech. I love building websites. I love editing videos. And I was like, well, how can I relate that to this health industry? And I realized that not everyone loves that kind of thing. Not everyone loves scheduling social media or even is capable of creating eye-catching graphics, things of that nature. Writing is not my first top skill. I do it because it's required, but I only have so much of that in me. And that's where the collaboration can come together. So when you're talking about, building social media, that's one of the things that Balanced Health Style is going to take off the plate of coaches. All they have to do is one simple task is talk about something that they're passionate about, that they're an expert at, that they have experience in, or contribute a healthy recipe. It can be as simple as that. Then behind the scenes, Michelle and I are going to SEO optimize it. We're going to create a robust social media campaign that will run either seasonally if it's a trending topic, or a year-long campaign if it's something that's just an ongoing conversation. And we'll post those out, across the term of the campaign on all the major social media platforms, including Medium. So we're going to be on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn,
Pinterest.
I don't even think Pinterest. Oh my gosh, that's such a great search engine. We're going to repurpose some of this content onto YouTube, so we'll be able to have videos and then reshare those videos onto the social media. So it'll be a constant circulation that people will be able to see it. It takes several touches for someone to notice a content, to notice a specific author. So by the time we get that social media out, people have taken that first step into coming to the website and looking at it. One of the calls to action that we build in is you can start a conversation with this author, a member of the public, instead of just having comments at the bottom of any post and where do those go and who even reads them after they're done. It actually initiates a forum thread, and the coach author gets notified that someone has started a conversation or made a comment on that thread, and then you can start that conversation with that member of the public, building that know, like, and trust factor. So there's goes from the social media to your article. They can either start a conversation, and we also have a standalone profile page that features the coach, individually, what are their specializations, any little things about them that they might feel like is relevant, and where people can get in touch with them on their favorite platform. Maybe someone does or doesn't have their own website with a blog. Maybe they, usually interact with people and most of their content is on a social media platform like Instagram or Facebook. We'll provide a link that someone can say, hey, I just want to follow this person on their own social media. So we're just creating that network from writing it to how people find it through social media to contacting that coach.
And I'm not the only one that think that is a super, super exciting project. So Delene says that sounds exciting. Daniela, I love the mission, Michelle. Jen, this is exactly what I've been looking for. Wow. Jen, when I heard the proposal of Michelle and Heather, I thought about the same thing. And Dora, I saw your question about different languages, and we'll touch on that in a second. But for me, I really, really love the idea of you can actually essentially go to otter.ai. You talk about all the thoughts that you have in your head. You organize it a little bit, and then you have a team of experts, Heather and Michelle, that make sure that Google likes your content. And you have a profile, basically a separate website for yourself, or maybe your first website at all, where you don't have to think about all the technical stuff behind the scenes, because that's freaking me out all the time as well. But you can just focus on getting great content out, educating the people that you want to educate, and then in an environment where everyone has the same values of actually promoting balanced, healthy eating, instead of these very extreme variations that are just clickbaity. So I had to share this with you because I'm super, super excited about this. And now the question, can you accept different languages right now, or is it for now only English?
That's a great question. We haven't been asked that before. Michelle, do you have any thoughts on this?
Well, I would like to leave a worldwide legacy, so I'd like to figure out how to do it. I mean, I think it would be awesome. I mean, if we can go worldwide, be inclusive with everybody, why the heck not? I'm all for doing that. Yeah. And, and I'll say too, it's just one of those COVID things that I thought, nobody's doing this. Well, who's going to do it? Heather and we're going to do this. That's how it came up.
If someone has ideas about if you know how to post in other languages, like how to get the literal characters to be different, please get in touch with us. In concept, inclusivity is one of our core values. So we are absolutely open to the idea. If someone wants to contribute content in different languages, we're able to optimize it for the specific regions that you are going to be speaking to. So there's that.
Yeah, I can see too, there is going to be a learning curve for me because I'm mainly with the US, but I would use Google Translate. I would learn. I'm willing to learn how to do it.
Awesome. Dora, I think you have to reach out either to Heather or Michelle to get the collaboration going. And I'm super, super, super happy that we already have the couple of coaches who are very, very excited. Final question for the audience. What questions or concerns do you maybe have for this project? Is there something where I don't know if that is actually right for me? Let us know in the comments right now. Heather, where can people learn more about your project?
Yeah, so we are on all the social media channels. The easiest way to get in touch with us is on our Facebook, which is the coach facing page. Let me make sure that I'm given the right link. Oh, I had such a great little cheat sheet and now I'm scrolling like crazy. Here we go. It's at Health Style Coaches, HEALTHSTYLES, no S, Coaches, COACHES, Health Style Coaches. That's on Facebook and Instagram. Then the easiest way to start working with us, to get a really great Get Visible Now kit, is going to be go to bit.ly, bit.ly/BH Write For Us. And then you're going to get just like a whole mess of resources and an invitation to contribute content to our platform.
And I will make sure that all these links are also in the description and in the comments. So if you didn't catch all the details, you can check out the description after this video. Heather, Michelle, thank you so much for being here, for sharing not only how to get started, but also where to actually get published. So if you're watching this, you now have all the tools to not only write, but also to actually get seen and supported by amazing experts. For everyone who's still watching, thank you so much for being here. Heather, Michelle, thank you so much for sharing your amazing project. I'm super, super excited about this. And everyone else, thanks for being here and have a great day. Bye.